In a distant galaxy, a powerful alien empire called the Zephyrians looked down upon Earth. They had advanced technology and strong weapons, and they believed that conquering Earth would be easy. Their leader, Commander Zarek, was confident. He had heard stories about humans being weak and disorganized, and he thought this would be an easy victory. As the Zephyrian ships approached Earth, they were filled with excitement. The fleet glimmered like stars in the night sky. The soldiers cheered, ready to fight. "Today we will show them the might of the Zephyrians," Zarek shouted, raising his sword high. The soldiers roared in agreement, eager to crush the humans beneath their boots. Meanwhile, on Earth, a sense of unease spread. The news channels flashed warnings about the alien invasion. Citizens watched in fear as images of the alien ships filled the screens. But amid the panic, a few brave leaders emerged. One of them was Sarah, a fierce and intelligent commander. She had been training a secret resistance group to fight against any threat. Sarah believed in the strength of humanity and knew that they could stand against the aliens. "We cannot give up," Sarah told her team. "The Zephyrians think we are weak, but we have something they do not, our spirit." Her words ignited a spark of courage in her team. They began to strategize and prepare for the incoming attack. They gathered weapons, formed alliances, and trained tirelessly. They understood that their survival depended on unity and bravery. As the Zephyrian ships landed on Earth, they unleashed their first attack. Zarek's forces poured onto the streets, firing energy weapons and causing chaos. The aliens advanced quickly, confident in their power. They thought the humans would run and hide. But to their surprise, the humans fought back. Sarah led her team into battle, coordinating their movements and striking at the right moments. They used the city's terrain to their advantage, hiding behind buildings and using guerrilla tactics. The aliens were shocked to see humans fighting back with such determination. Zarek watched as his forces struggled to gain ground. "What is happening? Why are they resisting?" he shouted in disbelief. The battle raged on, and although the Zephyrians had superior technology, the human spirit was unbreakable. Each time an alien soldier fell, the humans grew bolder. They worked together, relying on each other's skills and courage. In one part of the city, a group of humans set a trap for the aliens. They lured a squad of Zephyrians into an abandoned warehouse and then struck from all sides. The aliens were caught off guard, and their numbers quickly dwindled. Meanwhile, Zarek was growing frustrated. He had underestimated the humans. His confidence began to fade as he realized they were not the easy target he had imagined. "We must regroup and attack again," he ordered, trying to rally his troops. But his soldiers were shaken. They had not expected such fierce resistance. As night fell, the battle continued. The sounds of explosions and screams echoed in the dark. Sarah and her team fought bravely, knowing they had to protect their home. They were fighting not just for themselves, but for every person on Earth. They wanted to show the Zephyrians that humans were not to be underestimated. Despite the chaos, a sense of hope grew among the humans. They were holding their ground against the invaders. Every small victory strengthened their resolve. Sarah's leadership shone through as she inspired her team to keep fighting. "Remember, we are fighting for our families, our friends, and our future," she cried. The first day of battle ended with both sides suffering losses. Zarek, frustrated and angry, vowed to crush the humans in the days to come. But deep down, he began to feel doubt. This was not the easy victory he had expected. As the sun rose the next morning, the humans prepared for another day of battle. They were bruised and tired, but their spirits were high. They had fought back against the invaders, and they were ready to defend their planet. Little did they know a bigger surprise awaited them. A hidden fleet of human ships was waiting, ready to join the fight. The stage was set for a war that would change everything. Humans were not just survivors, they were warriors. And the Zephyrians were about to find out just how strong humanity could be. As the sun rose over the battlefield, a tense atmosphere filled the air. Zarek and his Zephyrian forces had suffered a surprising setback against the humans. They had not expected such fierce resistance, and now Zarek felt the pressure to regain control. He gathered his top commanders in a dark metallic tent where the flickering lights cast shadows on their worried faces. "What is happening?" Zarek demanded, his voice filled with frustration. "We are an advanced race. How can these humans stand against us?" His commanders exchanged nervous glances, unsure of how to respond. One commander, a tall Zephyrian named Lyra, finally spoke up. Commander, we underestimated their spirit. They fight for their home and their people. We need to find out what other secrets they might be hiding. Zarek nodded, his mind racing. Then we must send a team to gather intelligence. I want to know everything about these humans and their defenses. He pointed at a map of Earth, indicating various locations where humans had gathered. I want them to reveal their hidden fleet. It must exist. No race could survive without some form of backup. Meanwhile, on the human side, Sarah and her team were celebrating their unexpected victory. They had fought bravely and successfully defended their territory, but they knew the war was far from over. Sarah gathered her top officers in a secure bunker. We must stay alert. The Zephyrians will not give up easily. They are planning their next move, she warned. One of her officers, a young technician named Eli, spoke up. Commander, I have been working on something. We have a hidden fleet, but we need to keep it secret. I believe we can use it to surprise the Zephyrians. The room fell silent. Sarah's eyes widened in realization. You mean we have ships ready to fight? Yes, but they are well hidden deep in the mountains. We need to keep this secret until the right moment. If the Zephyrians find out, they will try to destroy them before we can use them, Eli explained, his voice filled with excitement. Sarah smiled, feeling hope surge through her. This could be our chance! If we can catch the Zephyrians off guard with our fleet, we can turn the tide of the battle. That night, under the cover of darkness, Sarah led a small team to the hidden location. They trekked through dense forests and rocky terrain, finally arriving at a concealed base. There, resting quietly, were a dozen human ships, sleek and armed, waiting for their chance to fight. The sight took Sarah's breath away. These ships are amazing. We need to get them ready for battle. Eli and the technicians sprang into action, checking the ship's systems and arming them for combat. Sarah felt a surge of pride for her people. They had worked tirelessly to prepare for this moment. Back at the Zephyrian camp, Zarek's team of spies had begun their mission. Disguised as humans, they infiltrated small villages, gathering information. They learned about the humans' defenses and their fierce determination to protect their planet. But what they did not discover was the existence of the hidden fleet. Zarek grew increasingly impatient. We need to attack again, but this time with full force. We cannot let them prepare any longer, he commanded his officers. If they have a fleet, we must destroy it before it can be used against us. As days passed, tension mounted on both sides. The humans were training and preparing their hidden fleet while the Zephyrians plotted their next move. Zarek ordered an all-out assault on one of the human strongholds, hoping to draw out their defenses. On the day of the attack, Sarah stood atop a hill, watching as the Zephyrian ships approached. This is it. We must use our hidden fleet wisely, she said, her voice steady. She felt a mix of fear and excitement. If they played their cards right, they could turn this battle into a victory for humanity. As the Zephyrians landed, they found the humans waiting, but what they didn't know was that a storm was brewing. Just as Zarek ordered the attack, the hidden fleet emerged from the mountains, catching the aliens completely off guard. Now! Sarah shouted, and the humans launched their counterattack. The skies lit up with energy beams and explosions. Zarek was stunned. What is this? They have ships, he yelled, realizing too late that he had underestimated humanity once again. The battle had shifted. The hidden fleet was now in play, and the Zephyrians were about to face the true power of the humans. With their secret weapon unveiled, the tide of war was changing. The battle raged on, and the skies above Earth became a chaotic battlefield. Bright beams of energy shot through the air, and explosions shook the ground. Sarah watched from her command ship, her heart racing as her forces fought against the Zephyrians. This was their chance to show the aliens what humans were truly capable of. Commander, the hidden fleet is responding well, Eli shouted, his voice filled with excitement. He worked furiously at the control panel, guiding the ships into formation. We have the advantage! We need to push forward now! Sarah nodded, feeling a rush of adrenaline. Let's take the fight to them. Remember, we are fighting for our families, our homes, and our future. She rallied her troops, and they roared in agreement. They surged forward, determined to reclaim their planet. On the other side, Zarek struggled to regain control. The unexpected appearance of the human fleet had thrown his plans into chaos. His forces were losing ground, and he could see the determination in the humans' eyes. Fall back, he ordered, trying to reorganize his troops. But the humans pressed on, fueled by their newfound strength. As the Zephyrian ships began to retreat, Sarah felt a wave of victory wash over her. "We have them on the run! Don't let up!" she urged her team. The humans pursued the retreating aliens, their spirits soaring. They were no longer just defending. They were fighting back with everything they had. Suddenly, a massive Zephyrian battleship appeared in the distance. It was larger and more powerful than any other ship they had faced. "Commander, that ship looks dangerous," one of the officers warned. "We should be cautious." Sarah's eyes narrowed as she assessed the situation. "We can't back down now. We have to take that ship down before it can regroup." She pointed at the battleship. "We will split our forces. Half of you will continue pursuing the retreating ships, while the rest will focus on that battleship." As they divided their forces, Zarek watched from the control room of his battleship. His anger boiled as he saw the humans gaining confidence. "They think they can defeat us?" he growled. "We will show them the true power of the Zephyrian Empire." He pressed a button, and the ship's weapons began to charge. Sarah's team approached the massive battleship, their hearts pounding. They knew this would be the fight of their lives. "Stay focused," she shouted as they flew closer. "We need to disable their weapons first." The human ships fired their energy beams at the battleship, and a fierce exchange of fire began. The air was filled with the sounds of explosions and alarms. "We're taking heavy damage!" Eli shouted. "We need to find a way to get on board and disable their systems from the inside." Just then, Sarah spotted a gap in the battleship's defenses. "There! That's our opening!" she yelled. "Let's go!" They directed their ships toward the opening, maneuvering expertly through the chaos. As they entered the ship, Sarah and her team prepared for a fierce fight. They disembarked and immediately encountered Zephyrian soldiers. The aliens were shocked to see humans daring to enter their ship. A fierce battle erupted inside the metallic halls. "Push forward," Sarah shouted, leading her team through the corridors. They fought bravely, taking down alien soldiers one by one. With each victory, their confidence grew. "We are the defenders of Earth," Sarah yelled as they pressed on. Meanwhile, Zarek was in a frenzy. "They have breached the ship. We must stop them." He rallied his remaining soldiers and prepared for a final stand. "They will pay for their audacity," he roared. As Sarah and her team reached the heart of the battleship, they came face to face with Zarek. The alien commander stood tall, his eyes filled with fury. "You humans are fools to come here! You think you can defeat the Zephyrian Empire?" Sarah met his gaze, unflinching. "We are not afraid of you or your empire. This is our home, and we will fight to protect it." With that, a fierce battle broke out between Sarah's team and Zarek. The clash of weapons echoed through the room as they fought for control. Sarah's determination fueled her strength, and she fought with everything she had. She was fighting not just for herself, but for every human on Earth. Finally, with a powerful blow, Sarah disarmed Zarek and pinned him to the ground. "This ends now," she declared, breathing heavily. Zarek, realizing he was defeated, looked up at her. "You may have won this battle, but the war is far from over," he spat defiantly. Sarah's heart raced as she caught her breath. "We will be ready for you, Zarek. Humans will never back down." With Zarek captured, Sarah knew they had turned a significant corner in the fight against the Zephyrian Empire. As the battle continued outside, it was clear that the tide had turned. Humans had revealed their strength, and now, with Zarek in captivity, the Zephyrian Empire would think twice before underestimating them again. With Zarek captured, the atmosphere inside the Zephyrian battleship changed. Sarah stood over him, her heart pounding from the fierce battle. "You thought you could crush us easily," she said, her voice steady. "Now you know that humans are not to be underestimated." Zarek glared at her, still filled with anger. "You may have won this small fight, but the Zephyrian Empire will not fall to a few brave humans. You do not know the power we possess." Sarah's determination only grew stronger. "We are ready for whatever you throw at us. We have faced adversity, and we will not back down." With that, she signaled her team to secure Zarek and ensure he would not escape. Meanwhile, outside the battleship, the fight raged on. The human fleet had gained momentum, pushing the remaining Zephyrian ships back. Eli, flying his ship in formation with others, watched as more enemy vessels fell under their fire. "This is amazing," he shouted to his co-pilot. "We're actually turning the tide of the battle!" But even as victory seemed within reach, Zarek's remaining forces were regrouping. The Zephyrians were known for their tenacity and cunning. "They are not done yet," Eli warned. "Look at that formation. They're preparing to counterattack." The Zephyrian fleet was indeed consolidating its power. Zarek had given them orders to protect their remaining ships at all costs. They would not let one setback define the outcome of the war. As the Zephyrians reformed, they began to fire back with renewed vigor. Sarah and her team had taken control of Zarek's ship, but the situation outside was dire. "We need to help our fleet," she urged her team. "If we don't act quickly, they will be overwhelmed." "Commander, we can't leave Zarek unguarded," one officer pointed out. "What if he escapes?" "Eli, can we disable the ship's weapons from here?" Sarah asked, desperate for a solution. Eli nodded, typing furiously at the control panel. "Yes, I can lock down their weapon systems. It will take a minute, but it should give us an advantage." "Then do it!" "We can't let the Zephyrians regain control," Sarah ordered. She felt a mix of fear and determination. The fate of their people hung in the balance. As Eli worked on the systems, Sarah turned her attention back to Zarek. "You may have the power of a fleet, but you are nothing without your leader," she said, looking directly into his eyes. "You think you can intimidate us, but we will never back down. We fight for our planet and our lives." Zarek smirked. "You may have me captured, but I have already sent a distress signal. Reinforcements are on their way. You will soon see the true might of the Zephyrian Empire." At that moment, Eli shouted, "I've locked down their weapons! But we need to act fast. We can't hold this position for long! Let's get to the control room and pilot this ship against the Zephyrians," Sarah said. "We can use it as a weapon." They moved swiftly through the corridors, the sound of alarms blaring around them. As they reached the bridge, Sarah took the pilot's seat. She quickly familiarized herself with the controls, while Eli monitored their systems. "Ready," Eli called out. "Let's show them what humans can do." With a deep breath, Sarah engaged the ship's thrusters and aimed it toward the nearest Zephyrian vessels. The battleship moved steadily, gliding through the chaotic battle. From the view screen, they could see their fleet fighting bravely against the Zephyrian forces. The humans were holding their ground, but they needed to press their advantage. "Let's fire their energy cannons," Sarah commanded. As they engaged the ship's weapons, beams of energy shot out toward the Zephyrian ships. The surprise attack caught the aliens off guard. "Yes! Keep firing!" Sarah cheered as explosions erupted across the enemy fleet. Outside, the human forces saw the battleship's sudden change. Their spirits soared as they witnessed the captured ship turning against the Zephyrians. "Look! The humans are using their own ship!" one officer shouted. With the renewed firepower, the humans pushed back even harder. The Zephyrians began to falter. "We are losing!" one Zephyrian officer yelled as their ships took heavy damage. In the midst of the chaos, Zarek realized his forces were on the brink of defeat. He had underestimated humanity's resolve and their ability to adapt. "We cannot lose!" he shouted, his voice filled with desperation. "Fall back and regroup." But it was too late. The humans pressed their attack, driven by the strength of their hidden fleet and the courage of their commander. Sarah felt a rush of exhilaration as she saw the tide turning. "We can do this! We will win!" she declared, her voice filled with passion. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their future. As the battle continued to unfold, Sarah knew that this was just the beginning of a long and hard-fought war. But today they had proven that humans were not just defenders. They were warriors ready to fight for their place in the universe. As the smoke cleared from the battlefield, Sarah stood on the bridge of the captured Zephyrian battleship, looking out at the remnants of the alien fleet. The once mighty ships were either destroyed or retreating. Her heart swelled with pride and relief. They had done the impossible. They had fought back against the Zephyrian Empire. "Commander, we're receiving signals from our fleet," Eli said, his voice breaking through her thoughts. He turned to her, excitement evident on his face. "They want to know what our next move is." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of leadership settle on her shoulders. "Tell them to regroup at the designated safe zone. We need to assess our losses and plan for what's next," she replied, her mind racing with the implications of their victory. As the crew followed her orders, Sarah felt a surge of hope. The humans had shown resilience in the face of adversity, and they had a chance to reclaim their world. But the war was far from over. The Zephyrians would not give up easily, and Zarek, though captured, still posed a threat. Suddenly, Zarek's voice echoed in the room, cutting through the silence. "You may have won this battle, but the war is far from over. The Zephyrian Empire will rise again." His eyes blazed with fury, and Sarah turned to face him, her expression unwavering. "We are ready for whatever you bring," she said confidently. But today we celebrate our victory. We have shown our strength, and you have seen the courage of humanity. With Zarek securely restrained, Sarah ordered the crew to prepare for departure. They would return to their fleet and share the news of their success. The journey back was filled with a mixture of emotions, relief, joy, and the lingering worry about what the future held. As they docked at the safe zone, the sight that greeted them was overwhelming. The human fleet had gathered, and a cheer erupted from the ships. Crews celebrated their hard-fought victory, and Sarah felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. They had faced the unimaginable and triumphed. "Commander!" Eli called out as he joined her on the deck. "We did it! We actually did it!" He was beaming, and Sarah couldn't help but smile at his enthusiasm. "Yes, we did," she replied, feeling a warmth spread through her heart. "But we must remain vigilant. This is just the beginning." The crew gathered around her, and Sarah took a moment to gather her thoughts. "Everyone, listen up!" she shouted to get their attention. "Today we have proven that humanity can stand against even the most powerful enemies, but we must not grow complacent. We need to prepare for whatever the Zephyrian Empire has in store for us next." The crew nodded, their faces filled with determination. "We will not let our guard down," Eli declared, raising his fist in the air. The others joined in, their spirits high, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the days that followed, Sarah and her team worked tirelessly. They gathered intelligence, strengthened their defenses, and began to understand the Zephyrian technology. Zarek's knowledge was invaluable, even though he was their prisoner. They devised strategies to counter future attacks and ways to exploit the weaknesses they had discovered in the alien fleet. During this time, Sarah also took moments to connect with her crew. She listened to their fears and hopes, reminding them of their shared purpose. "We fight not just for ourselves, but for our families, for Earth, and for the future," she would say, and their resolve grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, as Sarah stood on the deck of the battleship, watching the stars twinkle in the dark sky, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. They had survived against the odds, and they were becoming a united force. Earth had shown them what they were capable of, and Sarah knew they would not give up easily. Suddenly, Eli approached her, breaking her reverie. "Commander, I think we should send a message to the rest of the galaxy," he suggested. "We should show them what humanity can do. We're not just a small planet anymore, we're a force to be reckoned with." Sarah considered his words. "You're right. We need to send a message, not just of warning, but of hope. We will stand strong, and we invite others to join us. Together we can create a better future." With newfound determination, Sarah began drafting a message to the galaxy, a message that would echo their victory and unite those who sought peace. As she typed the words, a sense of hope filled her heart. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, but now they stood on the brink of a new beginning. Together, they would forge a path for humanity among the stars, ready to embrace whatever challenges awaited them. The war with the Zephyrian Empire was far from over, but the spirit of humanity had been ignited. They were no longer just defenders of Earth. They were a beacon of hope, ready to face the universe together.